Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our live coverage of another latest mission from Cape Canaveral Space Force Station, Space Launch Complex 40, the Space Coast. We are awaiting for a Falcon 9 liftoff at 8:53 p.m. Eastern Time from Flight 40, Eastern Florida, for a southeasterly launch of SpaceX Starlink mission. Today's mission is a part of SpaceX Starlink space launch dedicated to building out its Starlink broadband mega constellation. The Starlink mission 6-58 will launch 23 Starlink satellites to low Earth orbit. This launch marks SpaceX 344th launch overall. Hello, my name is Deepto Moitra, performing the commentary for today's mission launch, and you are watching AstroYonder live. We are super excited bringing you the coverage of SpaceX 50th overall launch and 49th launch of Falcon 9 just of this year. This will be the 34th dedicated Starlink mission of the year for SpaceX. Prior to today's launch, SpaceX has launched 745 Starlink satellites so far over 33 flights this year, and overall 6,393 Starlink satellites to date. All of our launches are solo shows here, so please bear with me if we run into some technical issues, but we will do our level best to guide you smoothly through the launch of Falcon 9. So far, SpaceX reports the weather is looking good for today's Falcon 9 launch opportunity, and the range is ready to support. Having a 15% probability of violation and 85% favorable outlook, with the primary concern being thick cloud layers rule. We hope that they are able to hit the start of the launch window and not have to push too far. But if for some reason we don't launch today, we do have a backup opportunity tomorrow, that is Monday, May 13, with launch window opening at 8:59 p.m. Eastern Time. Falcon 9 that's supporting today's mission is the world's first orbital class reusable two-stage rocket, which is 70 meters tall and 3.7 meter wide, designed for reliable and safe transportation of satellites, cargo, and people into each orbit and beyond. Let's learn about our very own Falcon 9 in more details. At the very top of rocket is the payload fairing, made up of a carbon composite material with a height of 13.1 meter or 43 feet and 5.2 meter or 17.1 feet in diameter. The fairing is a protective shell that houses all of the spacecraft and shields them from aerodynamic heating and mechanical stresses that happens as we ride through the Earth's atmosphere. The aerodynamic shape of the fairing also contributes to Falcon 9's overall efficiency, reducing drag as we accelerate through the lower parts of the Earth's atmosphere. But once we get to the vacuum of space, those two fairing halves separate, exposing the payload within, and then those fairing halves will fall back to Earth, where SpaceX recover them and to refurbish and reuse on future flights. In case of a crewed or cargo mission, the payload fairing is replaced with Dragon spacecraft. Dragon is capable of carrying up to 7 people and cargo in the spacecraft's pressurized section, or both together. In addition, Dragon can carry cargo in spacecraft's unpressurized trunk that can also accommodate secondary payload. Hello Soup Earth Society. Hmm, Next Starship flight test. Oh, still it's not being declared, but maybe at the end of this month. Thanks for visiting us, Soup Earth Society. Hope you will be enjoying the stream, staying with us. Now looking back to our Falcon 9, this is a short video of a fairing separation test by SpaceX at NASA Glen Plum Brook Station, which offers the world's largest vacuum chamber. The video just now you saw, it is being slowed down, and you have been noticed that this event of fairing separation, it occurs at the 10 times the speed of sound. So you can understand the speed in which it is happening. That's why for you to understand, this video is being slowed down. So coming to our Falcon 9 more details. Now we got our second stage. Right below the fairing, we got our second stage that has single Merlin vacuum engine or MVAC engine that can produce 981 kilonewton of thrust that will ignite shortly after stage separation to take the payloads to their target orbits. Also, it can be restarted multiple times to place multiple payloads in different orbits. Right, in case of, as you know, rideshare mission. So, and it will be fired twice on today's flight. It will ignite a third time after the deployment of the Starlink satellite for a deorbit burn to drive the upper stage back into the atmosphere, where it will burn up to help eliminate the risk of any unnecessary space debris. It is a modified Merlin engine only, equipped with large nozzle which is optimized for burns in the vacuum of space, which can produce slightly more than 0.22 million pounds of thrust. And MVAC engine burns the same propellant mix as the first stage, that is kerosene and liquid oxygen. Now below the second stage, we got the interstage. Interstage is a composite structure consisting of an aluminum honeycomb core which is surrounded by carbon fiber, which is the Merlin vacuum's nozzle, and the interstage is what connects two stages, the first stage and second stage, and also houses the centrifugal mechanism that separates the first stage and the second stage around 2.5 minutes into flight. It consists of deployable hypersonic grid fins, which are titanium winglets that provide orientation and stability for the Falcon 9 as it comes back through the atmosphere. Located at the upper part of the inner stage and located at the upper part of the inner stage are three mechanical latches that connects to the Falcon 9's second stage. After the main engine cutoff of the first stage, high pressure helium is used to release these latches, ensuring a smooth separation through pneumatic pushers. Now below the interstage, we got our first stage that's also referred to as booster. The booster makes up the bottom two-thirds of the vehicle, which is mainly aluminum lithium alloy tanks containing liquid oxygen and rocket-grade kerosene RP-1 propellant, and it's also got 9 Merlin 1D engines at its base. On the top right of your screen is the Merlin 1D engine, and below that is the Merlin vacuum engine or MVAC engine. Sorry about delaying playing the slide. So as I was saying, on the top right of your screen is the Merlin 1D engine, and below that is the Merlin vacuum engine or MVAC engine. Falcon 9 generates more than 1.7 million pounds of thrust at sea level. Those engines do bulk of the work to get Falcon 9 off the ground from the launchpad into the thinner part of Earth's atmosphere. The 9 Merlin engines on the first stage are gradually throttled near the end of the first stage flight to limit launch vehicle acceleration as the rocket's mass decreases with the burning of fuel. These engines are also used to reorient the first stage prior to re-entry to decelerate the vehicle or for landing. Now placed symmetrically around the base of the Falcon 9 first stage are the 4 landing legs made of carbon fiber with aluminum honeycomb. They are stored at the base of the vehicle and deployed just prior to landing. Now let's unpack some of the key features and milestones of this incredible spacecraft in a pictorial form. Here is a quick overview of Falcon 9. At the very top, we are having our fairing, where we have our spacecraft. Below that, we have our second stage. Underneath that, we have our interstage that connects second stage with the first stage, and first stage here refers as the booster. And at the very below of the booster, we have our 9 Merlin 1D engines and landing legs being stored. About 2.5 minutes into the flight, the first stage will separate from the second stage, and the first stage will make its way back to Earth, and it will be attempting a drone ship landing. To plan, the Falcon 9's first stage will come back to Earth for the 48th time this year, landing about 8.5 minutes after it launches on the drone ship, a shortfall of gravitas, which will be stationed in the Atlantic Ocean off the coast of Florida. The Falcon 9's upper stage meanwhile will continue to haul the 23 satellites to low Earth orbit. The spacecraft are set to deploy there about 65 minutes after liftoff. SpaceX is currently targeting a liftoff time of Falcon 9 from Cape Canaveral at 8:53 p.m. Eastern Time, which will be 5:53 p.m. Pacific Time, both on Sunday, and 12:53 a.m. UTC on Monday for our friends joining from around the globe. While we progress through our timeline of expected events, we would like to express our gratitude to all of you who are visiting us today, joining us live. Your presence is greatly appreciated. Would like to make a request to you. If you haven't already, please consider liking this video to help YouTube's algorithm to do its job, allowing more space enthusiasts and rocket chasers to discover this live launch coverage. Moreover, if you choose to subscribe, we are overwhelmingly grateful to you for supporting us. Additionally, we are grateful for the wonderful channel community on YouTube accompanying us today. We are truly thankful for each and every one of you who are here with us on this live stream. Your presence keeps us going and it inspires us. Thank you all. Now let's move ahead and look into the payload details of today's launch. This launch marks the 34th dedicated Starlink launch for this year. The first launch of 21 Starlink V2 mini satellites, that is the second generation of Starlink satellites, known as Starlink Group 6-1, that took place from the same launch pad as of today, that is Space Launch Complex 40, Cape Canaveral, Florida, on February 27, 2023. At the inception, the two identical satellites, or I should say test satellites, called Microsat 2A and Microsat 2B, which were called during the deployment but were renamed Tintin A and Tintin B upon orbital deployment, were launched back on 22nd February 2018. So that was the question I asked in the poll. Now Starlink satellites are built at SpaceX Satellite Deployment Facility in Redmond, Washington. Today's launch consists of 23 V2 mini satellites. The version 2 or the variant 2 of Starlink is too large to be accommodated in a Falcon 9 fairing and is meant to be launched by Starship. For that purpose only, SpaceX has found an alternative to launch Starlink to make a new design of version 2 of Starlink, that is version 2 mini of Starlink satellite. Each Starlink satellite is equipped with 4 powerful phased array antennas and 2 parabolic antennas to provide increased capacity. These phased array antennas utilize Ku, Ka, and E-band frequencies, allowing Starlink to provide 4 times more capacity per satellite than earlier versions. Each satellite features a single solar array with a size of 52.5 square meters, which unfurls to a wingspan of 100 feet. Some units of Starlink satellites have laser transponders for intercommunication and optical inter-satellite links, or ISLs, enabling the spacecraft to transmit data without local ground stations, providing truly global coverage. Each Starlink V2 mini satellite weighs nearly 800 kilograms, that is 1,763 pounds. They comprises efficient ion Hall effect thrusters powered by argon, enable Starlink to orbit, raise, maneuver in space, and deorbit at the end of their useful life. Starlink is the first Krypton-propelled spacecraft ever flown. Later, switched to argon Hall effect thrusters. Relative to Krypton, the argon required to fuel Starlink version 2 satellites will be practically free. To put it into perspective, fueling its next constellation of almost 30,000 version 2 satellites would cost SpaceX less than fueling 4,000 version 1 satellites, which are based on Krypton. Also, SpaceX claims that its second generation thrusters using argon has 2.4 times the thrust and 1.5 times the specific impulse of the previously Krypton-fueled thrusters. Today's payload will be placed in an orbit with an altitude of 530 kilometers and an inclination of 43 degrees. But this configuration does not apply to every Starlink satellite. Starlink satellites are placed in different configurations based on their group. For Group 5 and Group 6, the nominal altitude is 530 km with an inclination of 43 degrees. For Group 7, the nominal altitude is 525 km with an inclination of 53 degrees. And for Group 8, the nominal altitude is 535 km with an inclination of 53 degrees. So you can see they are having different configuration while deploying according to the groups. Starlink uses custom built navigation sensors named Star Tracker that survey the stars to determine each satellite's location, altitude, and orientation for best possible broadband throughput. Now let's look at the booster history of today's mission. Today, the booster with tail number 1073, that is 1073, will be supporting the mission. It's quite a mature booster with 14 previous flights in its record, including missions like SES-22, iSpace Hakuto R Mission 1, Amazonas 6, Dragon CRS-27, that is the cargo mission, and recently launched Bandwagon 1, which is a rideshare mission, and 9 Starlink missions. Now the booster is awaiting its 15th flight, just some minutes away. Now let's have a look at the bar graphs. Before today's launch, SpaceX reached the milestone of reaching half of Falcon 9 launches made in previous year, that is 48 launches, with previous Starlink 8-2 mission launch, surpassing the total number of Falcon 9 launches made in all the previous years up to 2021 and approaching the number of launches made in 2022. Now with today's Falcon 9 launch, the Biograph depicts 49 launches so far this year. Additionally, today's launch marks the 50th launch of SpaceX this year, including the Starship third integrated flight test. SpaceX has reached slightly more than halfway to the number of launches made last year, achieving this milestone within just 4 months and 12 days of this current year. At this rate, SpaceX is projected to achieve between 140 to 148 total launches this year alone. It is evident that SpaceX is steadily progressing towards its ambitious goal. Furthermore, they conducted the Starship Ship 30 static fire test of its all 6 Raptor engines, which will be used in IFT-5. Once again, we would like to thank everyone who is watching with us, joining us live. We would like to make a request again to you. If you haven't already, please consider liking this video to help YouTube algorithm do its job, allowing more space enthusiasts and rocket chasers to discover this live launch coverage. We are grateful for the wonderful channel community on YouTube accompanying us. Truly thankful for each and every one of you who are here with us on this live stream. Now let's go ahead and look into the countdown and review the milestones that lie ahead of us on this Cape Canaveral flight. At T-38 minutes, countdown begins at this point when SpaceX launch director gives the go for start of propellant load. If everything looks fine, prop load begins at T-30 minutes mark with the loading of rocket grade kerosene or RP-1 on board the first and the second stages of the Falcon 9 rocket. At the same time, LOX load, that is super chilled liquid oxygen, is loaded on board the first stage. And then at T-16 minutes, which will be the next event that when we are looking for here, that's when the second stage liquid oxygen load begins. At T-7 minutes, that's when the chill down of 9 Merlin engines gets underway. It involves flowing a small amount of liquid oxygen through plumbing and turbopumps that helps protect the engine from risk of thermal shock and damages during the startup sequence. At T-6 minutes before liftoff, the first stage kerosene tank should be full. In a T-4.5 minutes, the strongback retract sequence begins. The process begins with the clamp arms underneath the payload fairing opening up, followed by transport ejector or the strongback reclining about a degree and a half from the Falcon 9. It remains in that position until liftoff. It's when it rapidly pulls back to clear the way for Falcon 9's rocket vertical ascent. So the strongback positioned along the vehicle, also referred as the transport ejector, fulfills multiple functions. It supplies propellant, provides air conditioning, pressurization gases, and electrical power. Additionally, it transports the Falcon 9 to the launch pad and positions it for the launch. At T-3 mark, the first stage liquid oxygen loading should be complete, followed by the second stage liquid oxygen loading wrapping up at T-2 mark. At that point, the Falcon 9 rocket is fully fueled with 1 million pounds of propellant. At T-1 minute mark, the propellant tanks are brought up to flight pressure. In the final 60-second countdown, the control of flight system, that is launch sequence, is handed over from the ground sequencer to the Falcon 9's onboard flight computer. If everything looks good, at T-45 seconds mark, the launch director gives the final go for Falcon 9 liftoff. Now at T-3 seconds, the engine ignition starts, the start command being issued by the onboard engine controller. Finally, T0, we have liftoff. If all 9 Merlin 1D engines ignite and are healthy, flight computer will give the command for the hold down clamps to release the Falcon 9. Let's go ahead and briefly step through the trajectory for today's mission. Falcon 9 will lift off from Space Launch Complex 40 from Cape Canaveral Space Force Station. With the spacecraft on board, the batch of 23 Starlink satellites for a southeast trajectory heading into low Earth orbit, that is to the 6th shell of Starlink constellation, indicated by that green line on the screen. The red line indicates where Falcon 9 first stage will land after stage separation. Just a little later, leaving Florida's spaceport, this is going to be a off-the-land landing, a drone ship landing using autonomous spaceport drone ship named a shortfall of Gravitas, one of the two here on the east coast, which means the first stage booster with tail number 1073 flying for a 15th time will be returning heading out to the drone ship. Currently there are 3 in SpaceX drone ship fleet. We expect the addition of a 4th drone ship likely by the end of this year or maybe early next year. Of these 3 drone ships, just read the instruction and a shortfall of Gravitas are stationed here in Florida, while of course I Still Love You is located in California. The two halves of the payload fairing will be recovered slightly farther downrange from where the first stage lands on the drone ship. After, they will smoothly splash down with the guidance of parachutes. SpaceX will utilize a recovery vessel to retrieve them from the Atlantic water. SpaceX manufactures the fairing in-house with a total cost of two halves is nearly $6 million. No wonder that SpaceX aims to recover the fairings for repetitive use, mirroring its approach with the rocket booster, upholding motto of reusability. SpaceX has dedicated years of effort to the recovery and reuse of payload fairings. You can see on your screen how a fairing recovery looks like. Today's recovery vessel will be Dog. Other recovery vessel Bob, currently awaiting its next assignment. SpaceX has named its two new recovery ships Bob and Doug after NASA astronaut, and the first crew SpaceX launched was NASA under Commercial Crew Program Bob Bacon and Doug Hurley on the Demo 2 mission to the ISS back in 2020. Let's have a quick look through the launch timeline for the Falcon 9 rocket, passing through events following liftoff. At T plus 1 minute mark and 9 seconds, Falcon 9 will pass through max Q, a point of greatest aerodynamic pressure on the vehicle. Then there will be few different milestones in rapid succession. First will be the first stage main engine cutoff MECO at T plus 2 minutes and 25 seconds, followed by a major milestone within 3 seconds at T plus 2 minutes and 28 seconds, where first and second stage will separate. After 7 seconds, later second stage M1D Engine will ignite for the first time during the flight, that is SES-1 at T plus 2 minutes and 35 seconds. Coming up at T plus 2 minutes and 59 seconds mark, Falcon 9's payload fairing will be jettisoned. At T plus 6 minutes and 10 seconds, the first stage entry burn will begin, lasting for 21 seconds up to 6 minutes and 31 seconds mark, ending the entry burn for the first stage. At this time, we will hear the callouts for stage 1 and stage 2 flight termination being saved. We will also hear the callouts for the stage 1 being transonic and stage 2 being in terminal guidance. Next major milestone at T plus 7 minutes and 52 seconds, the first stage landing burn will begin, which will orient and set up the first stage for SpaceX iconic precision landing. At T plus 8 minutes and 15 seconds, first stage will land on a shortfall of Gravitar stone ship, marking the 307th landing to date. The second stage M1D engine will shut down, that is C41, and enter into a parking orbit at T plus 8 minutes and 38 seconds. T plus 44 minutes and 9 seconds, the second stage M1D engine will reignite for a just 1 second burn, that is SES-2, and turning it off at T plus 54 minutes, 54 minutes and 10 seconds, that is SECO-2, which will set up Starlink satellites deployed at approximately T plus 1 hour, 5 minutes and 18 seconds.
Strongback retract has started.
We have heard the call out for the process of the strongback retract is now underway, and you can see the clamp arms around the stage 2 are coming to open. You are seeing the clamp arms opening up here underneath the payload fairing, the transport ejector reclining a degree and a half away from the vehicle, now less than 4 minutes away from liftoff. Coming inside T-3 minute mark, everything continues to be go. We are currently chilling in the M1D engines back from T-7 minutes. When we open the pre-valves, which allows the propellant down to the engines to get them prepared for the ignition just before T0. You can see the strongback is now retracting away. It's a slow process. We have hydraulic actuators at the base of the strongback that will pull it away. We do this slowly because we might be able to see. We still have the lines that are carrying liquid oxygen to the second stage, as well as the electrical signals and the air conditioning up there in the payload fairing. We need to make sure that all of these are easily stretched out and all the mechanisms works good, so that we can recline strongback's position without tugging any of the lines. So far everything
Stage
looks
1
good.
locks load complete.
At 2-50 seconds, we got the call out right on time. Liquid oxygen loading of the first stage is complete. We are now waiting for second stage that will finish up just inside T-2 mark. Now currently we are inside 2.5 minutes. The range continues to be green, and weather, of course, as you can see there, has cooperated. We don't expect any weather conditions to develop in the last couple of minutes. Again, if for some reason we do not launch today, we do have a backup opportunity tomorrow, that is on Monday, May 13th, with launch window opening at 8:59 PM Eastern Time.
Stage 2 locks load complete.
And here we got our call out. Stage 2 LOX load is complete. All propellants are now on board Falcon 9 with 1 million pounds of propellant. We are now beginning to vent down the pressure that was in the tubing on the strongback.
Ground gas closeouts.
That's why you can see the clouds coming out there. Call out for ground gas closeout. That's where we bleed the pressure off, and that cold gas, when it reacts with the moist humid air, which gives you that nice white cloud, an indicator of launch coming up. Next event, T-1 minute, we should hear the call out that Falcon 9 flight computers are in startup and controlling the rocket for the remainder of the countdown.
Falcon 9 is in startup.
Right on time. Falcon 9 flight computers on stage 1 and stage 2 are running the rocket through last minute of count. Now we will listen to the go call outs.
Go for launch.
SpaceX launch director giving go for launch. We are coming on T-30 seconds.
T-minus 30 seconds and counting.
All system continues to remain go for launch of Falcon 9 and Starlink.
T-minus 15. T-minus 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
There it goes, we have liftoff. Falcon 9 has cleared the tower.
Goes pitching that range. Stage 1, chamber registers nominal.
T plus 23 seconds into flight. Falcon 9 on its way with 23 Starlink satellites into low Earth orbit.
Power and telemetry are nominal.
Healthy callouts there. Power telemetry nominal, propulsion is nominal. We are into the throttle
Vehicle
buckle.
is supersonic.
We are throttling down the 9 Merlin engines as we prepare for the period of maximum dynamic stress coming up. We got a call out for the vehicle getting supersonic. We have exceeded
Max
Mach
Q.
1 on Falcon 9. Max Q call out. We are through the period of maximum stress on the vehicle. We have throttled the Merlin engines back up to full power.
MVAC engine chill has started.
Right now, we started to chill down the MVAC engine on the second stage prior to its ignition just after stage separation, coming up 3 events in rapid succession. The shutdown of main engine on first stage, that is main engine cutoff, MECO, followed by stage separation where the first stage pushes itself away from second stage, and ignition of second stage MVAC engine that will boost the payload into low Earth orbit. Let's hear the call out.
MECO. Stage separation confirmed. MVAC startup.
We got the call out right on time from MECO and stage separation and the second stage engine startup, that is MVAC ignition. The first stage nitrogen thrusters are now beginning to reorient the first stage. Flight computers have commanded the 4 hypersonic titanium grid pins to slowly begin deploying. Now that the stage separation is successful, you can see it on the left side of your screen.
Fairing separation confirmed.
We got the call out there that the fairing separation has successfully separated. You are looking right now a view of the first stage continues under the power of 3 Merlin engines. It will continue to rise towards apogee before descending back down the landing on the drone ship, a shortfall of Gravita stationed in the Atlantic Ocean. Second stage, meanwhile, in the middle of a 6-minute burn, is on its way into the parking orbit. So right now we had a great launch. First stage has done its job so far. It is on its way back. Second stage is running at full power. We are getting great views from space and we are getting ready now for first stage to come back on drone ship landing site. During this portion of flight, stage 1 is using nothing but the grid fins for steering as it returns to Earth, and these grid fins reorient the Falcon 9 during re-entry, and they help to guide the rocket during its descent. Now currently we are seeing a view of second stage, but occasionally you will see on the first stage nitrogen gas bursts for altitude control on the left side of your screen, and these are basically used to position the vehicle as it heads back towards the drone ship. We should be getting a call out for normal trajectory of both the vehicles, and stage 1 FTS being saved. Hello, Simon. Last time what you commented, why reply me? I didn't got you. I hope you are doing well. Thanks for visiting us.
Stage 1 entry burn startup.
And
Stage 1
there's the
STS is
confirmation.
saved.
We have just lit 3 of the M1D engines on the first stage. You can see now we are rapidly slowing down the vehicle down as it enters the Earth's atmosphere, and this burn should last just around 21 seconds.
Stage 1 entry burn shutdown. Stage 2 FTS is saved.
And there we go. We got the callouts for stage 1 entry burn shutdown and also for the stage 2 FTS being saved. That's the confirmation of the shutdown of entry burn on the first stage. The Falcon 9 first stage is equipped with 4 landing legs, and those are made up of state-of-the-art carbon fiber with an aluminum honeycomb. They are placed symmetrically around the base of the rocket, and they will just deploy prior to the landing. Now we are expecting for a call out for stage 1 being transonic.
Stage 1 transonic.
There you go. We just heard the call out. Stage 1 is now traveling slower than the speed of sound as it heads towards landing. Speaking of landing, we are just about 60 seconds away from that. Upcoming milestone we will be having.
Stage 1 landing burn.
That I was going to say. There we got
Stage 2 internal guidance.
We got stage 1 landing burn. Great shots of the landing burn. You can see the center E9 engine now has lit. We are slowing the vehicle
Landing
down
deploy.
very rapidly. Landing legs deployed.
Stage 1 landing confirmed.
And there you have it. We have successfully made the 307th landing of an orbital class rocket. Coming up, we will have the second stage engine cutoff, that is SECO 1, and following that we will enter into just about a 45.5-minute coast phase as the vehicle ascends to its target orbit.
MVAC shutdown.
We got the call out for the MVAC shutdown, that is SECO 1. Now coming to some of the stats for today's mission. This was the 69th landing on a the launch marks 344th SpaceX overall launch and the 34th dedicated launch of Starlink satellites for this year. This is the 333rd Falcon 9 launch to date. This will be the 15th flight of this particular Falcon 9 booster with tail number 1073. It is the 49th Falcon 9 launch of 2024 and is SpaceX's 50th launch of 2024, including Starship's third integrated flight test. This is SpaceX's 278th Falcon booster reflight, the launch of a booster that has at least flown at once. 185th orbital launch for SpaceX, launching from SLC-40, that is Space Launch Complex 40. This is 240th overall orbital launch from this pad. With this mission, SpaceX has now a remarkable 6,416 Starlink satellites launched to date. Now moving On to some reusability statistics. This is the 69th landing on a shortfall of Gravitas drone ship. This is the 15th landing of the first stage booster with tail number 1073, which paves the way to 239th overall drone ship landing, marking 290th Falcon 9 landing to date and 307th SpaceX overall booster landing to date. Now here is a thing worth mentioning. Among the drone ships, a shortfall of Gravitas has a flawless record with 0 unsuccessful landing attempts. In comparison, Just Read the Instruction has encountered 3 unsuccessful landings, while Of Course I Still Love You has experienced 7. This makes a shortfall of Gravitas the leader in successful and clean drone ship landing attempts. Now let's break down some key stats for SpaceX launch this year, including today's mission. So SpaceX has a total of 50 launches, and out of those 15 were non-Starlink missions. They have reused booster for 47 times of those launches, showing their commitment to sustainability. Now let's look into geographical distribution. They have 34 launches from East Coast with 11 from Launch Complex 39A, that is Kennedy Space Center, and 23 from Space Launch Complex 40, that is from Cape Canaveral. On West Coast, 15 launches, all from Space Launch Complex 4 East, that is Vandenberg Space Force Base, plus there was one launch from Gulf Coast at Starbase back in Texas for Starship's third integrated flight test. As of landing, they have nailed it 48 times. Most of them were drone ships with 36 successful landings, 12 on Of Course I Still Love You, 10 on Just Read the Instructions, and 14 on A Shortfall of Gravitas, including one from today. And for ground landings, they have pulled off 12 with 8 on Landing Zone 1, only 1 on Landing Zone 2, and 3 on Landing Zone 3, 4 respectively. Now transitioning to this year's orbital launches, including today's, the United States is dominating with 57 orbital launches, comprising a substantial 62% of global total. China follows closely behind, accounting for 23.9% with 22 launches. Russia maintains a steady pace with 6 launches, while there is an upcoming launch from Russia, while Japan has 3 launches thus far. Both India and Iran have entered the fray with 2 launches each. While it's a close competition, the United States and China are undeniably superheading this year's space exploration endeavors. So now we got the pie chart showing 2024 orbital launches by rocket variations, including today's launch. Well, let me break down it for you. The big green slice of that pie, that's the Falcon 9 rocket. It's really heavy hitter with 48 launches, marking up more than half of the whole pie at 53.3%, leading the pack. Then we got that purple slice labeled Others, which is a mix of different rockets including Vulcan Centaur, Gravity 1, Starship, Delta IV Heavy, Angara A5 and others. They have got 25 launches in total, which is 27.8% of that pie. Not too bad. Next up, we got the Electron and Soyuz 2 rocket. Both are holding up their own with 5 launches each, which is 5.6% of the pie. Last but not the least, we got China's CZ-2 CZ-2D and CZ-2C rockets. The CZ-2D has 4 launches with 4.4% of the pie, and CZ-2C has 3 launches with 3.3% of the pie. There might be smaller slices of the pie, but every launch counts. Now with that, we will wrap up our coverage for now. Be sure to check out the social media for confirmation of Starlink deployment. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the stream. Take care of yourself. Have a nice day ahead. Once again, thank you for joining us, showing your such patience, love and understanding, staying on till the end. We are glad to have you all here with us, and we will see you next time.